Hey champions, it's Chum here, and today I'm making this video to announce to you guys an amazing new series coming to the channel, and that is going to be the SPL draft series. So if you guys don't know, I've been talking about it on streams a little bit, and I might have put out a couple of tweets about it here and there, but basically a couple of friends and I have decided we'd start a draft league. So in all those four of us, and we're basically, what we've done is we've gone and all drafted 10 Pokemon for each of our teams. And basically what's going to be happening is we're going to be pairing up, facing off, and then switching opponents each round. And probably do 2 rounds of round robin before we do a finals, and then progress the draft further on by changing up our teams and stuff like that. So it's been a really, really exciting process. And for the other guys who don't know what a draft league is, basically what happens is you have the full roster of Pokemon, and we all take turns picking a Pokemon. So let's say I was first, I would pick a Pokemon, then second place picks a Pokemon, third place picks a Pokemon, and fourth place picks a Pokemon. And then of course, to make it fair, then fourth gets to pick again, then 3, then 2, then 1, and we kind of repeat in that order. So it's like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. And of course, no people can share the same Pokemon. So if I pick something like Charizard, no one else can have Charizard. So that's kind of the balancing mechanics there. But yeah, basically what we did is we all drafted 10 Pokemon, and the idea is that we're going to be going into battles with 6 of those 10 Pokemon, and then the battles or the matches are going to take place as a best of 3 battles. And what will happen is, just like VGC, you have your team of 6 you take into the match, and each battle you bring a different set of 4, and of course we'll be following the VGC rulings as well in terms of what Gigantamaxes are allowed, how many items you can have, those sort of item rulings and stuff like that. We've actually already done the first round. It actually happened last weekend, and I'll try to bring that video to you guys very, very quickly. But there's a lot of stuff I want to do in terms of creating logos for teams and various artwork for this series, so it could take a while. Either way, I don't want to waste too much of your time, so we're going to jump into talking about who actually drafted what. So like I said, there's 4 teams. The first team is of course my own team, and my team is the Cherry Grove Charizards. So we all picked a team name. Typically you'll have a location and your mascot, right? We all live in the same place, like the same city, and we didn't want to get more specific than that, so we decided to pick areas from the actual video games, right? So for me, I picked a small town in the Johto region called Cherry Grove because it alliterates with Charizard, and of course that means Charizard is in my draft. But I'll put up my team on screen for you guys to see here. But basically what I've got, and this is going to be in the order I drafted them, so the ones that I picked first, the ones that I picked last: Whimsicott, Tyranitar, Lucario, Rotom Wash, Charizard, Hydreigon, Toxtricity, Runerigus, Corviknight, and Clefable. Now, those are my 10 Pokemon, and I gotta say I'm really, really happy with my draft. I've been doing team building for round 2 already, and of course we went through round 1, and I'm really enjoying the variety of Pokemon in my team. But yeah, I think it's going to be a really fun time. The ability to kind of build your team to target what you think your opponent's going to bring out of their set of 6, or maybe a team that can target or that can take on every single thing that they have in their set of 10. It's a really, really exciting mechanic. Anyway, moving on to the second team, it's piloted by my friend Nathan, and his team is the Hammerlock Haxorus. And on his team, again in the draft order, he has Grimmsnarl, Dracovish, Duraludon, Lapras, Gyarados, Arcanine, Dugtrio, Alcremie, Cursula, and Haxorus. So really interesting that he actually chose his mascot as the last Pokemon he drafted, but his team is honestly terrifying. If you guys don't know, I actually versed Nathan's team, so I versed the Hammerlock Haxorus in the first round, and it was insane. It was such a crazy battle, and I gotta say, it was terrifying trying to prepare for him, because he has 4 different Pokemon that can G-Max, and all G-Max Pokemon are terrifying. So it was definitely something very, very hard to plan for, but it was a really fun battle nonetheless. Then moving on to the second team, we have the Hulbury Hatterines, which is of course named after the city that Nessa has her gym in, and of course Hatterene, an amazing Pokemon in Generation 8. And the Hulbury Hatterines has this on their draft team: Ribombee, Hatterene of course, Indeedee, Snorlax, Dragapult, Ferrothorn, Vaporeon, Rotom Heat, Galarian Dimanatan, and Rhyperior. So very, very powerful team. We got a lot of slow Pokemon, a lot of Trick Room options, but also some of the fast Pokemon of the game, Dimanatan and Dragapult. So a really interesting team. I gotta say I respect it. And of course, Speed Swap Ribombee is a thing. So I don't know. I don't know how I'd face this team, and I'm glad I'm not facing them in the next round. So yeah, it's gonna be an intense time facing this team, and I'm definitely threatened by literally everything that I just named on that list. And if I didn't already mention this, the Hulbury Hatterines is actually piloted by my friend Kaito, also known as Ho, as it's his last name. Good battler, very knowledgeable player, so we'll see what happens when we finally face off. Either way, going into the final team for the draft league, we have the Evergrande Excadrills, named after the amazing Elite Four area in the Hoenn region. And this team is piloted by my friend Jeremy. He has got on his team Mimikyu, Excadrill, Togekiss, Conkeldurr, Torkoal, Gastrodon, Jellicent, Butterfree, Vileplume, and Durant. So a very interesting and diverse team. Not a lot of top meta Pokemon in that team apart from like Excadrill and Togekiss. Everything else is, a lot of the lower tier picks on his team, or the lower roster picks on his team, are very, very kind of obscure. But I can tell you, after seeing how round 1 played out, they do the work. So it don't matter if they're not as common. You don't have to be common to be good. So yeah, those are the teams that are going to be in this draft league. Currently, like I mentioned, we only have 4 of us. So what's going to be happening in terms of how the rounds progress and everything? We did the first round last week where I faced off against the Hammerlock Haxorus. And basically what will happen is we're going to do each kind of season as a set of 6 rounds. So we're thinking about every 2 weeks we'll battle. So the first one, it basically happens at the very beginning of April, which I guess will be the date when you guys see this video, or at least when you guys see the first battle video. And the idea is that it's going to span a 3-month period from, of course, 1st of April to the end of July, if I'm doing my math correctly. But basically what's going to happen is we're going to be battling every single 2 weeks, which means obviously in the, in the 3-month period, every 2 weeks is about 6 battles, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, it's going to be about 6 battles, and what that means is we get to do 2 rounds of round robin, which means, of course, each one of us is going to face off against all the other teams twice. And so the way I see it is, we basically have the first round of round robin, we did random pairings, and then from there what we did is we kind of, rotate around based on points, we battle everyone, and then we're potentially going to actually, edit our draft between rounds within a season. We haven't decided on that, but it's kind of something up in the air. Then moving on, we also have the second round of round robin where we're once again, I don't know if we'll randomize it again, or maybe we'll go off points, who knows what we'll do. We'll see how time kind of goes on, and how, what we realize about the way we play and how we can optimize it, sort of thing. Again, this is my first time running a draft league, so I want to make sure we get it right. And of course, to do that, there's going to be a little bit of trial and error. Anyway, like I said, we're going to be doing battles every single 2 weeks. So, most leagues that you'll see on the internet will be once every week, but we don't all have the kind of time to commit to Pokemon like that, so we want to give ourselves ample time to build new teams for new rounds and stuff like that. So that's kind of why we're doing it in this format. But yeah, like I said, the idea is that we're going to do 2 rounds of round robin per season, and then every 3 months is actually more so closer to 7 weeks. So the idea is what's going to happen is we're going to have a 1-week gap after the last match of the second set of round robin. So basically after the 6th match, we're going to have a 1-week gap, and then we're going to go into a finals for the season. And what will happen here is, instead of planning a team to combat one specific opponent that you're facing in the week, you're going to have to build a team ready to face every single one of your opponents, because what will happen is we're going to have a losers bracket and a winners bracket. So the 2 people who placed highest on the round robin scoreboard, or the point board, is going to end up facing off against one another, and the winner of that battle goes into the finals. The other 2 who are in the lower point bracket on our scoreboard are going to face off against each other, and the winner of that will then go into, I guess, what will be like the semi-finals, in which they have to face off against the loser from the top bracket, if that makes sense. I'll try and put a diagram on screen here to help you guys understand what I'm saying. But basically, if you're in the top 2 in terms of points, you get to face your opponent 1 time and then move on, if you win, into the finals. If you're in the lower bracket, you're going to have to win 3 times. And of course, if you lose in the top bracket, you move to the lower bracket. And if you win in the lower bracket, you're back into the finals against the first opponent for a second time. So you get a bit of a run back there, which I think is really exciting. I think it's going to be a really fun mechanic. And I definitely think the way we plan this out should be really fun and should make a lot of content. And on the topic of content, obviously, the only reason I'm making a video about this is because we're going to be bringing content for it to the channel. So of course, as you can obviously tell, I'm going to be bringing battle videos to the channel, featuring, of course, my matches, my thought process, and kind of how I, think as I go into battles, and how I prepare, how I plan. So that kind of video is already recorded for last week's episode, or last week's round, which means that should be coming out very, very soon. I can't guarantee it'll come out tomorrow. That's my plan, but life gets in the way, and there's still a lot of little kind of artwork based things I have to do to get this series ready for launch. But yeah, that'll be happening. Then on top of that, we're also going to be doing a live commentary of the other round. So let's say, you know, myself, and in the first round, I versed the Hammerlock Haxorus, which means, of course, I did live commentary on that match. And then, of course, while that happened, the Evergrande Escadrilles and the Halberry Hatterines actually had their own match. So what we did to kind of spice things up a little bit and, you know, kind of make more content rather than one video every 2 weeks, maybe one video every week, is that I also recorded myself and my opponent from the first round providing commentary to the other, you know, matches round, or the other pairings round. And the reason I thought of doing this is because I really find the kind of commentary that you see when you're watching tournaments, stuff like that, to be very, very interesting, because it's people who are very knowledgeable about the game talking from an outside perspective and trying to give others watching an idea of what the players might be thinking, because of course you can't hear what the players thinking in the match, because obviously that wouldn't make sense. They're going to broadcast what they think, their opponent knows what they're going to do. So I don't know, I really like the idea of being a commentator. I think it's really fun, so we decided to give that a go. So that'll come out sometime next week, and that'll kind of bridge the gap between rounds 1 and round 2, which of course will be about 2 weeks apart. So that's kind of the plan in terms of content. Every second week we'll have a battle video, and every second week, obviously every other week that isn't the same second weeks, we will have a commentary video of the other battle that I didn't participate in. That's kind of how that works. Hopefully you guys understand. I might kind of draw a little graphic to explain what's going to happen. On top of that, I do want to make some other fun videos. Like I said, we did our first set of rounds last weekend, and we actually also decided to jump into some multi-battles and do free-for-alls with our draft teams from that round. So those videos will definitely come to the channel, because obviously they were a lot of fun, and I think it's a good way to kind of spice things up, keep the draft league very chill and relaxed, and, you know, keep everyone having fun with just some kind of silly kind of game modes going around. And of course, you know, whenever silly game modes come about, I feel like YouTube's the perfect place to put them, so that's what's going to happen with that. We're also thinking that maybe we'll do specific kind of changes to the way we play for different rounds. Potentially we'll have a multi-battle round in which, rather than it being me paired up and facing my opponent, the person I'm paired with has to battle with me to face the other two, and then we all kind of go through a round where we pair up with each different person, and then obviously face a different team each time and see who can get the most points. Because obviously what we'll do is we'll give personal points. So let's say I win alongside Hammerlock Haxorus, then we're both going to get 2 points, and then maybe I win it alongside Halberry Hatterine, so I get 2 points, he has 1 point from last round, and so I'm on 4, he's on 3, and then, you know, vice versa. So it's a really interesting mechanic that we can kind of throw in, and we want to try and do a lot of things to spice this up, not only for the content, but to keep us really interested in playing Pokemon, because it's what we want to do, man. We want to love Pokemon, and this is one of the fun ways to do it. Either way, I've rambled on enough about this series. Hope you guys are looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. If you have any suggestions for what kind of content we could make, I'm also thinking about making team building videos. I don't know how that's going to work because I can't really broadcast my team before we battle, but it could be a fun time nevertheless. So that could also be another kind of extra video for that week. We'll see how it goes. Again, this series is going to be evolving as we go. It's going to start off kind of, you know, a little rough around the edges, but hopefully in a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, we can really smooth things out, and it'll be a really, really solid experience. Either way, like I said, I'm really looking forward to it. Just one last kind of note. Again, this is called the Smile, Protect, Leave Draft Series, or the SPL. The reason it's called Smile, Protect, Leave, just I don't think I mentioned it earlier, and I might have said the name earlier. We have a group chat where all of us are kind of, you know, we talk about anime and stuff like that, and the chat is called Smile, Protect, because the whole idea is that, you know, you protect smiles, right? So that's kind of the whole point of the series, and I guess the winner each round is the ultimate smile protector. I don't know. That's what we're fighting for, the power to protect smiles. It's going to be a good time, and I cannot wait to jump into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the ride as well. Either way, like I said, that's going to be it for this video. If you're looking forward to this series, hit that like button. Let me know what you think in the comment section below about the rulings and all that sort of fun stuff. And also, tell me whose team you think is the best. Like, who do you think has the best Pokemon in their teams? I mentioned it way back in the video. Feel free to jump back there, have a look at the teams, and let me know who you think has the strongest team out of all of us, because I'm gonna say me, but I'm also scared of everyone else's teams, because we all got some really powerful and threatening Pokemon. But yeah, like I said, hit that like button if you enjoyed. Comment down below if you think this series is going to be really fun, and let me know what you guys think about it. And then finally, of course, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click that bell icon to make sure you don't miss a single upload for the SPL draft series. Either way, like I said, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.